I'm Warren Smith with World News Group. At the age of 18, Lila Rose burst onto the national scene as an undercover filmmaker. She would dress up as a little girl, create a fictional life story and scenario, and go into abortion facilities seeking an abortion or attempting to see if the abortion facility staff would behave illegally. The hidden camera videos she made of these encounters became a sensation and turned her group, Live Action, into a force in the pro-life movement. They turned Lila herself into a celebrity. Though she's become too recognizable to do these undercover videos herself, the work continues. She trains others and is a frequent speaker at pro-life events and in the media. I called up with Lila in Washington, D.C., just a block away from the U.S. Capitol. It's a setting she's become more and more familiar with as she attempts to influence lawmakers to enact pro-life legislation. But I wanted to know how she got her start in the pro-life movement.
I got started doing pro-life work when I was 9 years old, actually. I volunteered at the community pregnancy center with my grandmother at the time. I come from a Christian family, so it was kind of there was sort of a pro-life ethic going on. I mean, I'm one of 8 kids, that should say something right there. But I really started with Live Action when I founded it when I was 15, just as a group for other young people in the area to get together and discuss what can we do to educate more people, especially other young people, about abortion, to encourage them to be pro-life.
Now, when did you start making videos?
Live Action started making videos when I was 18, and this is when I was a freshman at UCLA. Beforehand, we had just been doing multimedia presentations at churches mostly when I was a teenager. But when I got to UCLA, I did my first undercover investigation because I wanted to discover and report on what was happening in the abortion industry, Planned Parenthood particularly. So I embarked with a camcorder in my bag at the time, a voice recorder in my blouse, nothing very fancy or high tech. I just walked into my first Planned Parenthood clinic in Santa Monica near my school to find out how they would address the topic of statutory rape, what they would do when it came to the situation of young girls being abused.
Now that was the video that really kind of put you on the map, right?
Starting to investigate Planned Parenthood, I think, really definitely raised the profile of Live Action. Before, we were a community group, grassroots, young people, reaching young people at the church and the school level. But when we started to take on the nation's biggest abortion chain and start to investigate them, expose the abuses, then more people started to pay attention.
Well, now speaking of taking on Planned Parenthood, you have called the video camera a weapon. What do you mean by that?
The video camera is a weapon because the truth, nothing can hurt more, nothing can liberate more than the truth. And when you are getting undercover footage of what's really happening in abortion clinics, people are shocked. And when you look at all the abuses that accompany the abuse of abortion in abortion clinics, their minds start to change about how they view the pro-life issue, about how they view abortion. So it's really exciting to see when you get the truth out there, the amount of change that happens.
Now you've become a media celebrity. You've been on CNN, Fox, and all the other major networks, but you primarily work through alternative media, through YouTube and Twitter and other social media. Can you say a little bit more about that, and has the game really changed?
The game has absolutely changed when it comes to the power of getting your media, getting your news from sources beyond the mainstream, from TV, the typical TV and print channels. And we've seen that in the rise of Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. I mean, Live Action really got our start back when I was 18 and we were doing the first investigations of Planned Parenthood by putting up YouTube videos. And then the blogosphere picked them up, and then people started to report on them in the mainstream media. So right now, Live Action has built a social media presence to rival Planned Parenthood's. We're 0.01% of their budget. We have, one staffer compared to their 44 staffers for their online programs, but we have a Facebook page that's bigger than theirs. And that's because young people who are primarily using social media and other people are very pro-life, and they're excited about spreading those messages online.
Now, you've been really forceful in your criticism of Planned Parenthood. In fact, I told someone that that knows I'm working on this video project, that I was going to be shooting Lila Rose today, and they said there's probably other people out there that would like to shoot Lila Rose as well.
Oh no!
I'm wondering, have you seen any backlash or retribution because of the work that you've done?
There's definitely been backlash from the work that we've done at Live Action. I mean, we've received death threats. There have been a lot of just kind of nasty attacks and, different things that have happened. But at the end of the day, we take it in stride because, first of all, we get our support from our faith. I get my support from my faith, from Jesus Christ, from our Lord Jesus Christ, and knowing that this is not our battle. I mean, we can go out there and engage the biggest abortion chain with $1 billion budget, and we're a tiny group with 5 people. But at the same time, we're connected to hundreds of thousands of people across the country who share our conviction, millions of people who are pro-life, who believe in the value of human life. So we're not alone, and we always remember that when times get tough, that we're not alone.
Now, there's a journalistic quality to what you do, and I would say there's also kind of a historical documentary quality to what you do as well. But what do you call what you do?
Definitely the expose side of what we do is investigative journalism. So we go in there and we have concepts and ideas from our research about what we're going to discover, but the camera's rolling. I mean, it's up to the abortion industry, the abortion workers to respond to our scenarios and to talk, to behave in the ways that they do every day. And so that's really what we're going in for. I mean, the truth is paramount. We want to discover, we want to expose the truth. And that's certainly a journalistic approach to what we're trying to accomplish.
I've heard you use the expression creative extremist. Where did that expression come from, and what does it mean to you?
Sure. Well, Martin Luther King Jr., who is a hero to so many, in his well-known letter from a Birmingham jail, when he's being criticized actually by many in the Christian community and otherwise for his activism, and he's in jail and he's writing them this bold statement, one of the things that he writes is that the world is in dire need of creative extremists. And what he's really saying is that the world needs people who are willing to go, even when there's persecution and there's opposition, to go out there and do what might seem to be the crazy thing, to help the person in need, or to stand up for what's right, to stand up for the truth. And so I think today the same is true. The world's in dire need of creative extremists. We need people, especially young people, to go out there and to do the brave thing with graciousness, with conviction, with boldness, though, to speak out for the right to life for all people, to speak out for human dignity and for human life.
How has the reaction of the church been to what you do? Have you been encouraged by the church, discouraged, or has the church just been indifferent?
Certainly, I draw great security from the church, from the teachings of the church, which are just so strong throughout the ages on the right to life, on the protection of human life from the moment of conception, on standing up for human dignity as made in the image and likeness of God, human beings made in the image and likeness of Christ. And so that brings a lot of courage. I mean, there's certainly people, though, who say they're Christians, who are out there and trying to do the right thing, I believe, who are in opposition to us sometimes. And that can sometimes there's a temptation for discouragement there when there's confusion within the church. There's confusion among people who are Christians, but I think overwhelmingly we are united. We are united that we're made in the image and likeness of God. We're united on fundamental Christian truth that human life is sacred, that's the sanctity of life and should be protected. And our nation, which is founded on these Judeo-Christian principles, believes that human life is sacred and the right to life is fundamental.
Lila Rose and Live Action have lobbied law enforcement to bring criminal charges against the abortion facilities featured in her videos. So far, no charges have been filed. However, there's no doubt that she's making a difference in the court of public opinion. Public opinion polls suggest that young people in their teens and 20s are more conservative than their parents on the issue of abortion. And Lila Rose, still in her 20s herself, has become perhaps the most recognizable face of this new pro-life generation. Reporting for World News Group's New Christian Voices series, I'm Warren Smith.